what's up, dudes? Welcome back to another video here. This is going to be another Skidoo Mxz maintenance video. Today I'm just going to be doing something pretty simple just to throw a video together. I'm just going to be taking my current skis off of the 600, the black with the yellow handles, and then I got these yellow ones here that I'm going to be putting on. So I figured I would just throw something together about how to basically replace your carbides, and then how to swap skis. And then I will also be replacing I already got one done here, but I'm going to be replacing all of my suspension hardware with stainless, just because it makes things a lot easier for future working on these things. And then I'm also eventually going to replace this trailing arm, probably both of them, because it's still structurally good, but as you can see, it's starting to get pretty rusty and the paint's peeling away. So just kind of one of those deals where I like my stuff to look nice. So you can order those trailing arms on eBay. It's actually a place about an hour north of where I live that makes them, and they're essentially brand new. They're like a refab OEM style. They come painted already, and you can order stickers. You can order the ADSA stickers on eBay also. I believe those come from Canada. But also I wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys know that I do part these sleds out. As you can see, I have one right here that's about halfway torn down. That one was kind of you could definitely tell it sat outside, so a lot of the stuff is super rusty and just not ideal to work on. So I've been kind of picking at that one, but I picked up, because my yellow skis here didn't come with the mounting plate like that, so I got one off of eBay, and then I actually sold some parts to a guy a few weeks ago, and he ran into a culvert with this setup here, and it just sheared all of his suspension parts right off, which is kind of crazy. So he just gave me that. I told him I'd trade them apart because I needed this plate. The plate still looks good. As you can see, the ski's pretty cattywampus there. So I'm just gonna pull that off. I guess I'll show you guys how to do that. I mean, all this stuff I'm doing today is gonna be pretty self-explanatory. It's just changing bolts, and those you gotta drill the rivets out right here, because the plate's riveted to the ski. If you have, this is for the precision skis. The single carbide skis are a little bit different, but so we'll do that. I'll set up a little time lapse on doing that, and then jacking this thing up and all that. So yeah, pretty much it for now. We'll see you guys in a second here. I'm gonna get this thing going, and we'll do a little time lapse. So hope you like the video. Well, I just realized that my GoPro was set to time lapse, so I'm just gonna kind of explain what I just did, I guess, and I'll show it on the other side. But so these are M10 by 1.5 by 55 millimeters, so that's from the head to the tip, and that would be your upper rod, your lower rod, and then both of your shock bolts. So I got these two done already, obviously. Now I'm doing the lower shock bolt here. So we're gonna open our hood here. I also got a can for this thing. Pretty hyped on that. So to get to the top shock mount, you gotta just pop these little plastic plugs out here. Screwdriver, they kind of go flying, so not the easiest thing to do with one hand. I tried using the chest mount, but that's actually not as easy as I thought it was going to be, so here we are. But this also sucks because I can't have my radio playing because of copyright. I'll get copyright strike if I have the radio on, so it's just quiet in here. So I got the upper one switched already, the lower one switched already. Now I got my bottom shock bolt out, so now I'm going to need a 17 and a 16 because on this one, on the stock bolts, the head will be 16 millimeter and the nut will be a 17. So once you got that loose, you have to kind of push it through this hole here. So it's kind of hard to get your fingers in there. So I like to just take a screwdriver, something kind of small, and then hopefully the exhaust isn't in the way, and then just kind of push it through. Maybe I can just get. Well, that one's actually greased. Look at that. All right, so pull that through. Oh, there's some anti-seize on there. I'm gonna pull my ski off since I have to do that anyway. So this is gonna be 16 for the 16, 17. So just take the old impact. 17, hopefully this comes off. You do like to seize up. The one that I got over there to use for the other skis are pretty, oh, and these are actually greased too, wow. Proud of the previous owner of this sled. They actually maintained it like it's supposed to be. There's a little bit of grease on there, which is how you're supposed to do it, so it doesn't seize up. So got that out. Now I got a little more room here. All our carbide's looking on me. Oh, those are actually pretty good, surprisingly. So now I gotta try to get our shock bolts back in. So this might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we'll see what we can do here. Alright, I finally got that bottom bolt in, so I ended up just prying it up on one side with a screwdriver, and I stuck a bolt in the back side just a little bit to hold it located on the hole, and then I took another bolt and then shoved it all the way through, so then she held. But that was a pain in the ass trying to compress the shock and then get that in there, but we got her. So now I'm gonna get the nuts put on, and then we will do this bolt and this bolt, and then just the same essentially for the other side. So I probably won't show that, but yeah, and then we'll do our ski. I'll kind of show you what I do to take that plate off of our junk ski over there. I'm just gonna need like a 1/4 inch drill bit, and then a drill, and then just your wrenches to take everything else off. So we'll do that. We'll get this finished up, and then we'll get going on that. So stay tuned. All right, got all the 3-4 bolts on there. So now we're going to need a 6 millimeter Allen wrench for this pinch bolt here. So the best thing you can do is just turn your handlebars all the way one way, because otherwise this little tab kind of gets in the way. So it's just going to be 6 millimeter Allen on there, and then I'm going to take my impact with a 13 millimeter. Yes, I'm using chrome sockets on an impact. I don't really give a shit. And you gotta kinda get a socket that fits, because it's got it's only so much clearance around that bolt, so you gotta kinda get a socket that kinda, as you can see, I've done this a time or two, my socket's all shiny on the end of it from doing this, so this one fits pretty much perfectly right in there. So that out, and it is just, it's actually a flanged nut, so I am just gonna put a washer on there. So this is a M8 Allen head. I believe it is an M8 by 35 millimeter. So done two next to each other, and that's what it should look like. And then I got kind of a mess going on here, but I got some M8 stainless washers, and then my M8 nylocks in here. So we'll get that put back on. This is definitely one of those things that's not obviously absolutely necessary, but when you're dealing with stuff that sits out in the weather like this, I think it's worth spending just a couple extra bucks on stainless hardware. I mean, obviously the bigger bolt you go, the more expensive it's gonna be, but it's usually only a few dollars more, so I think it's worth it. Just to have that peace of mind later on. So that's all done. Or I guess worst case, you just buy all, so these factory bolts are all zinc plated. That's what like the yellowish kind of color is. But if you let your sled sit outside, it's pretty much guaranteed to rust. So then we'll go back to this bolt here. This is also a 6 millimeter. And these like to get pretty tight in there too, so be careful that you don't snap that off. That would not be ideal, because there's just basically a metal stud that is kind of, I think it's like welded to the frame there, that comes out here, and then that's what your chilling arm slides over. So as you can hear, it's pretty, she's usually pretty rusty in there, a little corroded, not really super rusty, but I don't know if they put, from factory, I don't know if they put any sort of like anti-seize or anything on there. But so when you pull that off, you're gonna have your little metal like cap kind of deal that plugs that off, so don't lose that. And then you got your bolt and a lock nut, or a lock washer, sorry. So go back to our table of bolts here, and I have, that would be M8 by 25 millimeter, if I can get it out. So these usually come in packs of like 10, or if you order them from McMaster-Carr. So M8 by 25, which is essentially 1 inch. And then I should have a pack of, stainless lock washer, M8 lock washers. You could use 5/16 because they're basically the same, but for the sake of doing it right, I guess I just do it the correct way. So I'll put this back up there. Our new bolt. Nice and smooth. I don't think we got to go super crazy on it being tight, but definitely don't be shy with it. So that done. So now just gonna do the other side, which obviously is a repeat job. Just excuse me, backing all these bolts out and then putting the new ones in. And then I also just wanted to throw in that these videos are going to be, these MXZ videos are going to be basically for 99 to 03, the ZX chassis. It'll be good for any of the ZX chassis sleds. So the MXZ, the Legend, the Formula Deluxe, and then also like this one, the Grand Touring. They're all basically exactly the same with very, they have very subtle differences based on like the engine size. And I mean, that's basically it. Like the 600 has a different expansion chamber than like the 800 does. And then like the primary clutch is different. Then obviously the engine size itself is different, but basically everything else on these sleds is the same. So anywhere from the seat, the handlebars, the master cylinder, the air, well, the airbox is going to be different too based on your engine size. So I guess anything like engine related, so engine, carb reed boots, your carbs, and then your airbox. I guess it's just the boots that are on the airbox, not the airbox itself. Those are going to be the same, but it's the little rubber boot that goes from your airbox to your carbs. That's going to be different for each size engine, but everything, literally everything else, I guess your clutches are going to be different too. But so pretty much anything engine related is going to be different, but everything else is the same. So like DPM, oil tank, your MPM box should be cross platform, I guess you could call it. Essentially all the body parts are going to be exactly the same. Obviously the hood, stickers are different, but all your dash parts are going to be the same. Chain case is the same, I believe, on all of them. But yeah, so I also did the front bumper on this thing. I kind of wish I would have did a video for it, but I replaced, it had a black bumper. So I replaced that with a yellow one, and then I did all there's your hood hinge bolts here and here that I did in stainless. And then there's two bolts, one here and one here, and then you got a stud that comes out right here with a nut on it. So I'll show you what that looks like with some, I got freaking parts all over the place, but so you got two studs that stick out on both sides. So be careful if you are looking to replace your bumper, because like I said, these sleds get very rusty, and especially if they sit outside. So I've snapped so many studs off trying to get, I don't know if any of these, yeah, so like this here, that nut seizes up on there and then it just snaps it off. So if you are having a hard time with that and you're trying to replace your bumper, put some, I've had luck with, was it PB Blaster for those bolts, so that works pretty well. But all right, so I'm gonna do the other side, and then we're gonna do our skis, and then that'll be pretty much a wrap on this video. And then stay tuned for the next one. I think I'm going to bleed the brakes on here. And then also, like I said, I do part these out, so if you need parts, I guess the best way to get a hold of me would be on Facebook or Instagram. They're all at the Birdhouse Car Club. So I'm gonna do a little time lapse for this side, and then we'll get to the skis. So stay tuned. All right, finally got that put back together. Ended up being a little bit of a pain in the ass getting this lower rod bolt in here, because I think this is This is just slightly bent, but not enough to where I'm like concerned about it. If you look kind of straight on here, I mean, it's a little bent, but it's not, I don't think it's enough to affect how the ski is gonna sit. So I actually replaced my one of the lower rods on the 700. Actually, it was this side, and you could see the ski was kind of was sitting a little, it was pulling in one way because it was bent. But so we got that all done, got those all switched out here. So now, also just wanted to say shout out to whoever worked on this sled before, because they greased most of these bolts at least. So that always makes it helpful. So now we're gonna go over to our skis here, and I am just going to, I'm gonna have to, in order to get this post off of this mounting plate, I am gonna have to cut, I'm gonna have to take a cut-off wheel and get in here and then cut on both sides of the post, because this bolt is seized up inside of there. So I can't really just back it all. I'm just gonna end up snapping, if I take my 1/2 inch impact, I'm gonna end up just snapping that head off. So either way, I'm gonna have to cut that and then scrap this whole works here. And then we will take our drill these out, and then pop the carbides off and go from there. So stay tuned. I'll just probably time lapse that also, obviously. Like I said, this is all kind of self-explanatory stuff. Probably don't really need to watch a video to do how to do this, but I don't know, it's something to throw together, and then if there is some people that find use from it, great. If not, whatever, I guess don't watch it. So all right, we're gonna do a little time lapse of that now then. Alrighty, got the post off, as you can see. Cut her on both sides, and I did get into this little like steel, I don't know what you would call it, like little insert that gets pressed into the aluminum plate just a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Alright, pop my battery off, impact. So it might be actually easier to drill from this side, so probably do it that way. There we go. All right, got that off. That is junk. So now we got our plate. So yeah, see, I oblonged that hole a little bit, but whatever. See, the easiest way to do this, thinking maybe we just watch your hand. That one actually. Okay, so we got our plates now. So now I am going to, oh man, getting old. So I just picked up, instead of using metric hardware for that, because it doesn't really matter, I just picked up these button head, of course stainless, because your skis are going to be in the snow. So these are 1/4 by 1 button head socket cap screws, and then obviously just a 1/4 nylock nut. So I just want to double check before I open all my individual bags. I want to double check that these are going to be long enough. put your button head on the bottom. I was gonna put a washer in there too, but there's not enough room. So we're just gonna leave it the way it is. I did do this on my 800 skis also. I actually had these powder coated black. Could get them anodized, but I had a buddy at the time that did it. So, all right, that should be enough. Once it tightens up, should be enough bite there to, oh yeah, that'll work. All right, so, but yeah, like I said earlier, this is all kind of self-explanatory stuff. Just wanted to throw something together. Since it's been a couple months since I posted a video, so all right, got that one down. I'll throw this one on here, and I've got those all done. Now I'm actually gonna take, I don't really want the orange handles on here, so I'm actually gonna take excuse me, take these black ones off and put them on here. So, and then I'm gonna keep those for a spare set. That one's going in the garbage because that's junk. These are actually, that one's already missing the nut. That looks like a brand new boat. So take that off. Kind of wish these were the same. These are a little thinner than the orange or the yellow for whatever reason, but so take your boots out, make sure they're facing the correct way. So the higher side goes towards like the front of the ski. So like that. Oh, wow, I gotta put carbides on yet. I'm an idiot. Okay. Totally forgot to do that. Got these. I got these off of Marketplace. Always check Marketplace because you never know when you're gonna run into a good deal. These were only 50 bucks. So I think I'm out of M10 stainless nuts too. Shit. I would prefer to put stainless on there, but I guess this is what it is. So let's get these out of here. These are probably, I don't know if these are like super high quality carbide. I mean, they look pretty decent. I bought some eBay specials for my 700 and they were like 125 bucks for all four of them. I got paid 50 for these. So I mean, you can spend up to $250, $300 on a set of these if they're like woodies or something like that. So I usually like to kind of take like a sharp edge and kind of clean this like channel that it sits in up a little bit. So I'm gonna kind of clean these little boogers out of here. Probably not that important, but certainly isn't gonna hurt. They go on a certain way. So the longer side, the longer end of the carbide is gonna go forward. I should just kind of see how that's hitting on there, that little plastic. That's why I like to take that stuff out of there. So pull this back out, clean that up a little bit more. Probably could just, I guess we could just tap her in there with a hammer, but there we go. And then once we tighten it, it'll kind of pull them tight to the ski. So now we're going to I got my stainless ski post bolts, which are, where did I put those? Right here. M10 by 120, which are actually a little bit long because I put some on the 700 and they are slightly too long, but it should be about 110 millimeter. So actually, yeah, I can't even put these on all the way either because I don't have any more stainless M10 nylocks. I thought I had enough of those, but apparently not. I got washers, but anyway, I guess you'll get the idea. So I'm just gonna take 4 of these, one on the outside, one on the inside, and then so we'll take our skis here. Get these. And then since these are stainless, they don't technically need to be, I mean, you're supposed to put grease in here regardless because your ski kind of, it rocks back and forth and it rides on there. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of grease just for good measure. Just kind of slobber on there. It's probably gonna scrape off when I put it through, but whatever. So now we're just gonna put that up. Maybe don't set your bolt on the dirty floor. There we go. Now I see how it's kind of sticking out a little bit far, but like I said, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. So 110 would probably come out to about right here, which is pretty much perfect. But and then yeah, obviously it's the same for the other side. So all right, that's gonna be pretty much it now. Besides, yeah, like I said, I'm just gonna finish up with nuts on here tomorrow, nut on there, and then a bolt here and a bolt here, and then that'll be it for this thing. So now I'm gonna throw you guys back on the handheld here, so stay tuned. We're almost done with this video. Let me know what you guys think of how this thing looks. Do we like the black skis with the yellow handle better, or do we like the yellow skis with the black handles better? I don't know. I think it looks pretty sick either way. Worst case, I just swap them out when I want to. But and also, like I said, hit me up if you need parts for these sleds. I stick to 99 to 03 MXZ parts. So, and then like I said earlier, it's going to be compatible for all the ZX chassis, plus or minus, you know, like I said, the engine parts and whatnot. But as far as like body parts, pretty much all that, it's all cross compatible with these sleds. So let me know, shoot me a DM in Facebook or Instagram, or leave a comment. Also drop a comment if what else you want to see on these sleds. I don't really know what else I can do for now that I need to do besides bleed the brakes. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as I can. I kind of went a little, I think, more in depth than I should have for this, just because, like I said, it's not that hard of a job. It's just taking bolts off and putting new ones in, but it's something. So let me know what you guys think. Hope you liked the video. Make sure to leave a comment, shoot us a like, or shoot me a like. I appreciate it. And then drive safe, watch for deer. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.